Hi everyone and welcome to the Google Apps Q1 2011 Innovation in Review webinar. My name is Hicham Alaoui and I'm a product marketing manager within Google's enterprise division. Our agenda today is really to go through the recent spate of launches that came out in the first quarter of 2011, so just over the past couple of months. We're going to start with a quick word on innovation at Google and how we view innovation, and then we'll jump into what's launched in Google Apps in the last 3 months, talking about launches in Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Docs, the Google Apps Marketplace, and ending with a set of features in the Google Apps Control Panel designed for Google Apps administrators. But first, a quick word about innovation at Google. So today, Google Apps Premier Edition is the most affordable way for organizations to deliver business-grade messaging and collaboration tools to their employees. But as other vendors reduce their prices, it's Google's innovation advantage that will continue to set us apart. And the way we like to think about it is a contrasting trend of innovation between the cloud model, which enables a continuous stream of innovation to be delivered to our customers, and the legacy solution client-side model, which is designed for a step-ladder curve of innovation rather than a continuous stream of innovation. So we like to think of ourselves as being on the red line, always making our products better based on feedback from millions of users, as well as constant testing to improve performance, reliability, and security. The cloud-based delivery model means that users automatically get new features just by refreshing their browsers, and administrators have full control on rolling out these changes to their organizations without having to manage patches or hardware upgrades as they would in a traditional legacy solution. And with that said, let's actually jump into some of the innovations that we've seen just in the last 2 months since the beginning of the year. Beginning with Gmail and Google Calendar. So with Gmail and Calendar, our objective is to provide the best messaging and calendaring solutions for businesses. And we've launched a number of features and innovations since the beginning of the year to help us continue to achieve that goal. Starting with desktop notifications for email and chat. So when you're on your browser, you can obviously tell very quickly if you're getting a new email, but what about if you don't have that browser window open? Well, we've now launched desktop notifications, which are basically HTML5 notifications that display a pop-up whenever a chat message or a new email arrives. You may have heard about the launch of Priority Inbox, which happened a few months ago now, which is a way to basically be able to display in order of priority what your emails are when you first check your inbox. And so we've now launched that to Gmail for mobile as well. So if you have set up Priority Inbox in your desktop version of Gmail, you will now see the same sections in your Google Apps Mail accounts when you log in from your mobile. In the screenshot here, you see that the email at the top of the screen is marked as important as indicated by the yellow marker, which would be familiar from your desktop usage of Gmail as well. We've also launched Google Cloud Print, which is a service that allows printing from any application on any device, OS, or browser without the need to install drivers. So you can now print directly from Gmail on your phone using this service. I should mention as well that the links at the bottom of each slide are links where you can go to obtain additional information about each of the releases discussed in this presentation. In the contacts space, we've also launched a new release of Contacts for Google Apps, which brings a lot of the improvements that were previously available to consumer users. We've also added some business-specific features to help you and your colleagues get in touch with contacts more easily. So for instance, you can now add new contact information that will default to work instead of the home field type. More importantly, you can view domain directory contact details interwoven in line with any contact details that you've added yourself. You can also add contacts from the domain directory to your My Contacts list and manage groups more easily by quickly adding email addresses to groups and picking from a contact's multiple email addresses to use on a group-by-group basis. So for instance, if I had a contact with who is a coworker but also a friend, I could elect to assign one of his email addresses when I'm emailing him as part of a group at work and another one when I'm emailing him as part of a personal group of friends, for instance. In Calendar, we've added event time zones, so you can now specify the time zone for a given event, and you can set up events which start in one time zone and end in another, which is helpful if you're hopping on a plane, as in the screenshot example here. Moving on to Google Docs, the Google Docs suite was really compiled, prepared, and produced or programmed for us as a way to give companies and businesses the best possible collaborative tools to use in their daily work. And so there have been a steady stream of improvements to the Google Docs suite, the most notable of which is the launch of Google Cloud Connects for Microsoft Office. So Google Cloud Connects for Microsoft Office is a plugin that lets you share, backup, and simultaneously edit Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Excel documents with coworkers without the need to send attachments back and forth, which is the way you traditionally would do that. So you can simultaneously edit documents. You can have a URL, which is featured here in the screenshot, that you can share with other people for them to just view the document. So in the case of a presentation, for example, you might not necessarily need to collaborate with a lot of people in the compilation or initial creation of the presentation, but you might want other people to be able to look at it and provide you with some feedback without necessarily editing it. So this is a great way to do that. You have one URL that you can shoot out to anyone you want to review the presentation, and they can click that link and just view it on the browser. We also offer revision history for Microsoft Office files that's stored in Google Docs. And of course, there's offline editing, which smart synchronization of any changes made offline. So the next time you come back to a web-enabled a device, or rather to an internet connection, then you can view other changes that people have made to the document and sync changes smartly. Perhaps best of all, there's no Microsoft Office upgrade or SharePoint deployment required for these functionalities to be available. So it's a pretty major launch that we've had in the beginning of the year in the Google Docs space. Now, we've also previously had available the ability to run optical character recognition on PDFs or image files that you upload to Google Docs, and we've now extended that to a total of 34 languages. And speaking of internationalization, we've also enabled mobile Google Docs editing in 45 languages. So you can now edit documents on the go in 45 languages on Android with Froyo, that's version 2.2 of Android, or on iOS devices versions 3 and above. So that includes the iPad. Another launch in the space of Google Docs in Google Apps is the launch of user-managed storage. So this is a service which allows users to purchase additional storage space when they fill the allotted quota. So users who upload lots of files to Google Docs, sync their Office documents to the cloud using Google Cloud Connect, or store and share pictures using Picasa or Blogger can now expand the storage space available for their files. User-managed storage is enabled or disabled by the domain administrator, and end users purchase additional storage using their Google checkout account at the domain. We've also made some improvements to Google Docs Viewer. A Google Docs Viewer allows you to quickly view PDFs, Microsoft Word documents, and PowerPoint presentations online by viewing them in the browser without downloading them locally. But now we've expanded the array of file formats that Google Docs Viewer supports, including XLSX, PPTX files, but also Adobe Illustrator, or Adobe Photoshop, or AutoCAD files, among others. In Google Spreadsheets, we've also enabled a new feature to hide grid lines, which is a surprisingly often requested feature among businesses. So you now have the ability to hide grid lines in Google Spreadsheets. Perhaps more importantly, if you go to the Google Documents list in Google Apps, you will now see a refreshed look and feel, which is making it more useful to find, explore, and share items. So some of the changes include new filters in the More Options section, which make it easier to narrow your search by file type, visibility state, and other criteria. There's also a new preview panel on the right side of the Documents list, which shows you a preview thumbnail, sharing settings, and more for a particular file. On a related note, you can also now watch videos directly in the Docs list. So if you've uploaded video files, they can be up to 1 gigabyte in size, and of most typical file formats, including MPEG, AVI, FLV formats, and others, you can now view them right in the Google Docs list without needing to download the file first. Moving on to launches in the Google Apps Marketplace. For background, the Marketplace makes it easy to find, buy, and deploy web applications that integrate with Google Apps. Now this quarter, we've launched a new education category to the Google Apps Marketplace with over 20 new apps from 19 vendors. Many of these apps are free or have free trials and include learning management systems, gradebooks, learning aids, student tools, and more. So organizations that run Google Apps can add these integrated applications to their instance of Google Apps with just a few clicks. This comes in addition to a steady stream of applications that are launching on the Google Apps Marketplace every week. Moving on to administrative controls, we've launched a number of improvements this quarter, including a new setup wizard available in the Google Apps control panel. The interactive guide can walk you through all of the key configuration options, from creating user accounts to activating email, migrating your existing data to Google Apps, and configuring mobile devices. The wizard also includes progress indicators so that you can easily come back to the Setup tab to continue where you left off. We've also launched a new version of GBEZ, or the Google Apps Connector for BlackBerry Enterprise Server, which is now available with improvements including automatic PST compaction, reduced disk load, and new admin utilities and various improvements. In the sphere of email controls for Google Apps administrators, we've launched email authentication using DKIM, which stands for Domain Keys Identified Mail, and is a standard to sign all outgoing messages, which helps validate outbound mail from being from that domain. So in the example in the screenshot here, you'll see there's an email sent from the domain clandestino.com, and that little indicator underneath the subject line shows that it's signed by that domain. Google Apps administrators can now enable DKIM signatures for all outgoing messages, which helps validate outbound mail as being from that domain. Now, to add a digital signature to outgoing mail, you generate a domain key that Google Apps uses to create encrypted mail headers that are unique to your domain. You add the public key to the domain name system records for your domain, and then recipients can verify the source of a mail message by retrieving your public key and using it to decrypt the header. And speaking of email, we've also enabled new email delivery controls, such that Google Apps administrators can now create email policies specifying who their users can communicate with over email, and tailor these policies for different groups of users. So for example, in a school, faculty and staff could have unrestricted email access, while students only have the freedom to send and receive emails within the school community, but are protected from receiving unwanted email interactions with outsiders. And lastly, we launched a new collaboration dashboard. This is a tool that enables Google Apps customers to really measure the productivity impact of better teamwork. So the new collaboration dashboard in the Google Apps for Business and Education control panels provides aggregated metrics to administrators showing the number of documents created by type, the number of documents modified by type, the average numbers of users that a doc is shared with, and other valuable metrics to understand how documents are being used within your organization. So that concludes a lightning quick overview of the launches that we've had in Google Apps over January, February, and half of March of 2011. Going back to the two curves showed at the beginning of this webinar, we really believe that the pace of innovation in Google Apps is what sets us apart from other solutions in the marketplace, and we are looking for that to continue and increase in velocity over the coming year. To follow updates in real time, you can follow us on Twitter, access the Google Apps update feed, and subscribe to that via either RSS or email. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more updates on Google Apps.